Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order for the December 5th, 2019 Committee as a whole for Business Affairs and Administrative. Roll call, please. Ms. Coakley.
Mrs. Heinz, Mr. Green, Mr. Derman,
Here.
Mr. Loop, Mr. Harrell,
Here.
Mr. Nation,
Here.
Mrs. Richardson,
Here.
Mr. Winkler,
Here.
Mrs. Drucker,
Here.
Mr. Bettencourt, Mrs. Lamy,
Here.
Mr. Hersey,
Here.
Mr. Bro, Mr. Kuzan, Mrs. Page.
Present.
Thank you, Ms. Coakley. We're going to dispense with the invocation and the pledge as it was done in our prior meeting. Any recognition of visitors by board members? Seeing none, we're going to move to our public comments for 5 minutes. And I do not see any that have requested time on the agenda. So we're going to move to our 3-minute public comments. And we don't have any that have requested 3 minutes. So we're going to go to item 3, which is approval of the minutes for the committee of the whole meeting held on November 7th, 2019. Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. Bettencourt, seconded by Ms. Drucker. Any comments or questions from board members regarding the minutes? Seeing none from the board member to the public, do you have any comments or questions regarding the minutes? Seeing none, we're all going to vote, please, to accept or reject, whichever way you want.
11 yeas, 2 abstentions.
We have 11 yeas, 2 abstentions. Next item on the agenda is administrative. Mr. Jabia.
Thank you, Mr. Derman. We recommend authorization for Superintendent Foles and/or Board President Heinz to purchase lot number 12B Galatas subdivision situated in Section 14, Township 7 South, Range 10 East, Greensburg Land District, St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana, being 1.33 acres located on Galatas Road in Madisonville, Louisiana.
Okay, thank you. I think for most of the board members, you've got that attachment on this item, and it's a piece of ground that abuts Madisonville Elementary currently, and we've had some issues at that location trying to acquire property to make expansions in the past, so I'm sure that this piece of property is well needed in conjunction with that.
It's an excellent opportunity for us to get a piece of property that's reasonably priced. It's going to help us in the traffic in and out of Madisonville Elementary right now. That traffic really gets really tough on Galatas and C.S. Owens Road. And there's a subdivision down at the end right next to the school, and those people have problems getting out of this subdivision, especially during car line in the morning and afternoon. This is a piece of property that is contiguous to our property, and it also goes all the way to Galatas Road. So we're looking at it for a number of different things, but probably some type of entranceway into that new building that we're building, and we're going to hope to continue to build because our goal is to move the 3rd grade from Lancaster back to Madisonville Elementary so that that school will be a pre-K through 3, and Lancaster will be a true middle school of 4, 5, 6. So we're asking for you to do that. The board policy on land is that we get 2 appraisals. We've gotten both of those. One is $44,000, the other one's $45,000. We take the average, which is $44,500. We presented that to the seller. He did not want to budge with that, so we can negotiate up to 5% over the average of the 2 appraisals, which we did. So the seller is willing to take $46,725, and the administration recommends that the board purchase this piece of property.
Thank you, Ms. Jamie. Ms. Drucker, do I have a motion?
Yes.
Motion by Ms. Drucker, second by Mr. Harrell. Any other further discussion from the board? Seeing none. Mr. Green, I'm sorry?
I just had a quick question. As I look at this map, there's a good bit of property there. I mean, is that vacant land that goes to the east toward 1077? I know there may be a house on that property,
There
but
is.
and how big is that allotment from Galatas over to 1077? If you box that in, how big is that area there?
Oh, Cameron, would you know about how big
If
that
you,
is in
could you
Denver?
estimate that? Because if that's 1 1/3 acre, it would be,
I would say probably about 3 acres, I would think. 5 to 7 acres, okay. And we've approached, the family that owns that house, because we would love to be able to buy that property and have that whole block there, but they're not willing to sell right now.
okay.
But we're not letting that go. We're gonna continue to work on it.
We got right of first refusal?
That's it.
Yeah. Good. Mr. Bro?
I'm gonna remove my request. I'm colorblind, I couldn't see the red on the map. I was gonna ask him to point it out to me, but I see it now.
Oh, good, okay. Sorry about that.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other questions from board members, any from the public? Seeing none from there, please vote on the item, please.
Thirteen years.
13 yeas, so the item passes. Next on the agenda, Mr. Jabby, monthly maintenance and custodial report.
Yes, sir. Mr. Godchild and his staff is here if you have any questions.
Any questions regarding our maintenance and custodial issues or items? Seeing none. Okay, Mr. Jabby, monthly risk management.
Yeah, Mr. Gaspard is here if you have any questions. Your report's in your on-board docs.
Any questions for Mr. Gaspar? Seeing none. Mr. Jabby, our monthly transportation. You're
Yes, sir.
doing great.
I'm doing good, thank you,
That
sir.
little tenure you had as superintendent has well
See what that
prepared
one
you.
time did and how good it did me?
It's unbelievable.
Mr. Bodie is here if you have any questions.
Any questions for transportation? Seeing none. Again, Mr. Jabby, a great job.
Thank you, thank you.
You may
Thank
have a
board
career
members.
in this after all. Okay, we're going to go to item 5, which is construction. Ms. Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Derman. Construction report tonight at Slidell High. The contractor is working on installing the flooring in the area of the old kitchen that will be used for additional cafeteria seating area. The parking lot that had been in use by the contractor has been cleaned up, restriped, and most of that area has been turned back over to the school for parking. So we're getting closer to the end of this project at Slidell High. At Madisonville Elementary, the metal building structure is being installed at the gym and at a portion of the classroom building. Another portion of the classroom building is being prepared for the slab to be poured. All of the pile driving is complete, and the library expansion is complete, and the library is back in use at the school. At Mandeville High, the steel structure for the locker room expansion is being installed. Half of the first floor slab for the classroom building has been poured, and the second half of that slab is scheduled to be poured at the end of next week. The concrete columns on the first floor of the classroom building have been formed and poured, and a portion of the forms for the second floor have started being built. The design process for the capital improvement projects for the new bond issue is continuing to progress well, and we continue to receive information from architects and go back to the school administrators for review and discussion, and also back to local permitting authorities for their input as well. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Tipton regarding the construction? Seeing none. Great job. Keep it up for us. Thank you. Business Affairs, Ms. Prevost.
The October financial report was sent to you, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Ms. Prevost regarding the financial reports? Seeing none. Monthly repurchasing report, Ms. Prevost.
Ms. Stevens is here to answer any questions you may have about that report.
Any questions regarding purchasing? Seeing none. You did an excellent job. You're a quick study to Mr. Javier, no doubt. All right, announcements from the board president, since Ms. Heinz is not here tonight. Mr. Nation.
Thank you, Mr. Derman. One announcement, and then, well, actually, I've got two, but one, this printed, there will be a Christmas reception at 6 p.m. prior to the board meeting on Thursday, December the 12th. The board meeting will follow the reception at 7 p.m. And the second one is just a matter of personal privilege. I want us to congratulate Mr. Foltz on being elected to the St. Tammany Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. So, congratulations, Trey.
Thank you.
This is your second term on the board, or?
I think, yes.
But I mean, this is the combined board now, correct?
Yes, correct.
So, well-deserved, because that's, so one of the things that makes the school system so great is our relationship that we have with our local business community. All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Derman.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. And it is well deserving of the recognition that Mr. Foltz has for his relationship that he does have with the business community. It's very important to us, as you have stated. So, with that, meeting adjourned. Merry Christmas.